Hi guys, welcome back to another sessions. Obviously, it's the lockdown edition. We've got today. It's going to be a special one. We've got a guy who he does so much. I'm actually looking forward to this one. He's the founder of Polarface Music. He's a manager. He does so much. I'm gonna even let him introduce himself.
You're making me blush, bro.
Glad to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm all good, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. How's lockdown been for you? How's it? It's easing now, so have been able to get out more. How's that whole thing going for you?
Yeah, especially in the early stage, so especially that period between March and April, it was a very awkward time. None of us knew what was going on.
Yeah.
None of us knew what was going on. But forward a couple of months later, and now we're in July. It's good to see that a little bit of normality is kind of starting to kick in for some people. I've been able to finally see people I haven't seen for about roughly 4 to 5 months. So right now I'm in a good place. A lot of ideas have been brewing up during this whole lockdown period, and it's been a bit of a good side. It's allowed me to kind of slow down and just think of what I want to do in the future. So it has its pros and cons, But right now, I can say I'm in a good place.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I've been good, but just kind of definitely echoing what you were saying. When you're very busy, when you have a lot of things to do, this period really just gives you an opportunity to slow down, take stock of things, actually kind of look around, assess what you want to do and move forward. So, I guess it's been a good resting period in that respect. But at the same time, it's been quite busy. Still working and all of those sorts of things, but a lot of planning, a lot of things in the pipeline. So, looking forward to kind of moving forward. And I guess we're just trying to plan what we're doing in terms of young future.
Yeah.
But, I'm assuming it would be kind of similar in your respect with the whole music industry being hit the way it has been. But yeah, I'm good. Everything is well. So before we start, I'm going to introduce myself and then I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
So, my name is Tayo. I'm a part of the team here at Young Future, and we are basically a talent and events management company. And we're just a platform literally looking to give creatives an opportunity to showcase their gifts and talents. And we've been doing so since it's been a while. I think we had our first sort of live showcase back in about 2014. And yeah, we've not looked back since. It's been a great period of time. And so what we're trying to do with sessions is we're trying to highlight creatives such as yourself and just show different sides to the industry. And just, looking at people's experiences and kind of just provide that insight. So yeah, that's basically what we've been doing for now. But what about you? Who is Jason?
Yeah. So, Jason Ngimbi, founder of Polarface Music Group. Polarface Music Group is a record label, management company, and events company, which I founded in 2016 when I was studying at my second year at university. I went to the University of Manchester. If you can see here, I'm repping the badge here. I went to Manchester. So I was there from 2015 to 2018. And the reason why I moved to Manchester for uni was because I identified as a very great musical city, and I do see it as in the same power as London. So it was a very good opportunity for me to start the record label there. And we work with 4 fantastic musicians, 1 from the management side and 3 from the record label side. And I'm very lucky that I work with a lot of good people in the team, who also got the same intentions, which is to make Polarface Music Group to, be a successful record label in the future. What we care about so much right now, and I think what we're going to care about forever in our ethos is being an independent company with DIY ethics. So yeah, that's who I am, and that's what Polarface Music Group is all about.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, especially touching on the DIY part of things, and I think that makes you guys so relatable. is just so that all these artists and creatives who are looking to make waves in the industry, they can kind of relate to to kind of the vision that you have, and they know that you guys care about them as people as well. Because I feel like there may be some misconceptions with the industry and your labels and the management, etc., that people are just there for the money, or people don't really care about the actual artists. And it's great to see people like yourselves who are actually coming in and showing it. Actually, yeah, we care about your development. We care about as US people. So
thank you
to see that.
It's important because at the end of the day, I've always said, like, it's the artists who are the ones who carry the industry, not me, not the lawyers. Obviously we play our part, but we are part of this industry because of artists at the end of the day. So it's really important that myself, I have good relationships with the musicians I work with, and with any artist I want to deal with in the future. So yeah, you always got to thank the artists. They're the ones who make the industry going.
Yes, 100%. I 100% agree. And just giving them, just creating the environment for them to actually do what they do best. I think that's so important. So yeah, that sounds really good introduction as well. What we're gonna do quickly before we get into it, just gonna ask you a couple of quick questions, just to, just to see what you say actually. So, first question. If you could have any ability, what would it be?
If I could have any ability, what would it be? I think the ability I would love to have would probably be being able to say no when, a lot of times. I hope that's would you count that?
Well, I mean, let's hear why. Why would you?
Especially like with me, like, I'm always so excited when I hear so many ideas. And then when somebody would tell me an idea, at that moment, I'll be thinking, oh, wow, that is an amazing idea. Have one person on my team will actually be like, Jason, have you actually looked properly at what they're trying to say? And then you realize, maybe that won't work, but the mistake I've done is I've agreed to say yes straight away. So, no, it's something which I am improving, and I'm getting better at, where I'm getting better to just understand the concept of saying no when it's necessary to say no, rather than just agreeing to everything. Because, like, right now, I have the mindset of, I kind of know what brand I'm putting in for Polarface, and sometimes the times I've said yes, I've got to realize that it can actually affect the brand of Polarface, so the ability of just trying to understand the concept of no is something which I would love to get better at. I'm there, but I want to be a lot better at it in the future.
I can imagine. And to be fair, no, what you say is so important as well, because actually saying yes is good, and actually having the mind to want to bring ideas to fruition, that is so important. I think, just having that open mindset is good, but definitely, especially when you know what you're looking for, you know where you're aiming towards, the ability to say no can kind of just keep you in track and keep you in line to where you're going. So, okay, you know what? I'll accept that. That was good. That's a good ability. Okay, now this question, you can't really think about it. It's your first thought, the first thought that comes to your mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You have to delete one genre of music. What genre are you getting rid of? R&B, house, pop, hip hop. Go.
Pop. Because there's some terrible pop music, man. Like, do you know what I mean? There is some.
It's true.
But at the same time, I can't lie, because there's some terrible house, there's some terrible hip hop, terrible R&B, but majority of the times I hear terrible pop. So I have to put it on the list.
I get, yeah, that's true. Okay, but if you had to stick with one forever, like that's it, that's all you have, which one are you choosing?
Oh, R&B, 100%, man.
Okay, all right.
R&B is where you get the soul,
Love.
You know what I mean? He's
Okay, all right. And if you could remember, what's the name of the last song you listened to today or recently?
Oh, it has to be Digga D, Woy.
Okay, that's a serious song right there. That's a serious one. Okay.
That song. It's been my song since the day it came out. I think I'm the one who's given Digga D all these streams, because I'm listening to it like every day. Like,
oh wow.
Every day I'm listening to it.
It's a serious tune. Okay, all right. And I've got one more. This is it's an interesting one. So would you rather have an artist go on tour in a different country, or sign a 2-year residency on a main stage at a well-known event such as Wireless?
Perform in the country.
Yeah.
From outside the country.
Okay. Okay.
Any day. Like, I always seen that the perks of why a lot of people want to do music, so you have the opportunity to leave and explore different cultures and perform all over the world, you know. And yeah, I would rather like my artists go outside this country and experience a new culture, because you know there's more you could do than performing in the UK, you know. So 100% getting outside the country.
Okay, that's good. I think it's important. I think definitely expanding your horizons, experiencing new things, because then when you come back, you see things from a completely different perspective, and it gives you a different inspiration. I know, like from myself, just kind of in the travels that I've done, it really just has changed the way I see things. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Even if I look at it, you know, in the past, I know it's a bit different, but you can kind of relate it to a bit. Like, it got to a point where when we were doing our events, we wanted to stop doing events in London, because, you know, we actually wanted to like broaden our horizons and look at other cities in the UK. Because we do have to remember, like, we live in the United Kingdom. There's more than there's other cities other than just London. Manchester, and these have got good population of students, you know, music lovers. And when we got to like around 2018, 2019, I started to do more events up in Manchester, Leeds, Bristol, because I just wanted to try and go for different markets, rather than just staying in one market, which is London, because London's very saturated. I think if you have an opportunity to leave, it's good to go to another city. But yeah,
that's great. That's really good. Okay, and so I mean, you've spoken about, you know, doing the different events and, you know, the different directions that you wanted to go into, but actually before all of that, like, who was Jason? Like, what made you actually start this journey that you're on now?
Yeah, I've been someone who's always loved music at a young age, you know, and originally I started out trying to do music myself. You know, I was playing in bands when I was like 16, 17, but then I realized that, you know, I didn't have the voice, I didn't have the confidence to be on stage all the time. So the idea of being a musician sadly went away. I don't know why I'm saying sadly. It's kind of good it went away. So that went away. But then, you know, when you reach the age of 18, you start going to more nightclubs and you start to experience music. I think that's when my love of music like fully developed, you know, when I had the opportunity to actually finally go out and start experiencing live music. And then I go to Manchester Uni. I'm immersing myself in the music scene. I'm immersing myself in the music culture in Manchester. And, you know, I'm just being that person who just loves to go to gigs, just loves to watch artists perform live. And you kind of think to yourself, this looks really cool. Like, you know, like I would love to do something which I can benefit musicians. And that's when the idea of promoting events came about, because, you know, living in a city like Manchester, I was so fortunate to network with so many great artists in that city that a lot of them never had experience of performing live. And that's when I had that opportunity to start organizing live shows and start organizing club nights, involving these artists to have an opportunity of performing live. So, you know, before I started the company, I was just somebody who just came from a position who just loved music and, you know, just always wanted to be in a scene. And I find that very interesting when there is somebody behind the scenes who's doing all the works, and, you know, you as a normal music person, you probably never would even know who these people are. You know, but then when I start to do my research and start to understand who these promoters are, who these managers are, you start to think to yourself like, wow, you've got a very good job. You've got a very cool job that you're looking after artists, and you're trying to make sure that you achieve their dreams. So those are the kind of aspects which just like always influenced me about the music business. And then I finally took the courage to start the label when I saw myself trying to apply for numerous roles in the industry. Wasn't getting any feedback, wasn't getting any responses. And I kind of saw that, no, this isn't, you know really well, the music industry is a networking industry. You know, they don't care about what grade you get. They don't care if you've got a 2-1, if you've got a first. Of course, those are bonuses, but, you know, the music industry is an industry of like who you know and what you've done. So I pictured myself as just thinking, you know what, like, let me do my own thing as a way to break through and make my own contacts, network with people, build my knowledge of working in the music industry. And that's when Polarface came about. So in conclusion, I was just, before I started Polarface, I was just this young kid who just loved music.
Yeah.
And knew that I had a terrible voice, but knew that I had something great to do behind the scenes. And that's when I got involved.
Amazing. That's amazing. I think that is okay. Wait, before I even say what I'm going to say, what was actually the first gig that you went to? I mean, I'm assuming that would have had quite an impact on, your love of music.
So I'm trying to think, because I remember 2012, I went to a lot of gigs. I went to a lot.
The most memorable one.
The most memorable one, I would have to say Jay-Z and Kanye West, Watch the Throne.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, probably. I probably would say that was the first gig I went to. I would probably I probably would say that's the first gig I ever went to.
What a first gig to go to. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Kanye and Jay-Z at the O2 Arena, Watch the Throne tour, 2012. And like that day, it was one of the best days, but it was also the worst days. I'll tell you why. It's because, don't judge me this, right? But I'm a Tottenham supporter, okay?
Oh, yes. Right now, I might have to.
you might as well hang up the call now. I'm a Tottenham supporter, right? And on that very day, Chelsea were doing the Champions League final against Bayern Munich. So what happened was, if Chelsea lost, we got top 4. Chelsea won, they'll go Champions League. So on that day, I'm watching Jay-Z and Kanye. So I'm like having the best time of my life, but at the same time, I'm looking at my mobile phone trying to catch the scores. And at the end of the day, of course, Chelsea won the final. So they get top 40. So I remember that day so well, man. There was too much drama in one day.
That's memorable. You've got the highs, you've got the lows, and everything in the middle. So, yeah, that's a serious first gig to go to.
One of the best gigs I've been to. Legendary.
Okay. And just kind of going back to what you were saying before, I mean, you said something that I think is really interesting, in that you were able to realize, oh, okay, maybe I don't, have the best voice, or maybe, this is not the area that I should go into. And you were able to kind of step in and start looking into different areas that you'd be interested in. Or did you know from the get-go that, okay, maybe, management or something, for example, is what I wanted to do? Or were you just applying for a bunch of different things?
Yeah, I was applying for different things. I would try to look for some internships. I tried to look for some work experiences. I tried to look for like some marketing roles, and then I was just applying for everything as a way of me just trying to get into the industry. But then I wasn't able to get any of that. When I started Polarface, my role was just to do events first. So Polarface started off as an events company. The first thing we ever did to announce Polarface was our event, was our launch party, which we did back in 2016. And then after we did that first launch party, it allowed my friends to know what Polarface was about. It allowed myself to announce to people that Polarface is now a company. That kind of gave us the platform to now look at starting records. But at first, we were just an events company. But when I started Polarface, I just thought I'm going to just create it as a way for myself, just to tell people I work in the industry, so that if I do apply in the future for other roles in the industry, I've got something to put my CV or saying, oh, look, I've done stuff within the music industry, and that's been my own business.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's really smart. I mean, that's quite a good way to sort of announce yourself to the music industry. I mean, there's people that I've spoken to who don't do events or, these types of things. They do find it hard getting in to start with. I mean, I guess it's the same with a lot of different industries, but, the fact that actually you took that step and said, let me actually make this into an events company, events company, and kind of attack it from that perspective, that's quite creative. And so I guess fast forwarding a bit to when you then decided to start the label, was it a hard transition, or what was the hardest part about either starting with the events or starting the label?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, bro, we had no clue what the hell we were doing. No clue what the hell we were doing, but we just thought, let's just give it a go and see where it takes us. So when we did our first record from an artist called Clive Mercury, and we released an EP called Orange Rooms, James, a guy who I work with in the label, we heard a demo, we loved it. We said, let's just get this out. And then Clive at the time was the same age as us. So we had that understanding and that connection that, look, we're the same age, let's just give something a go, you know. And it was a pretty hard transition because we just honestly had no clue what we were doing. We thought, you know what, we're going to get this record out and we'll see where it goes. So yeah, like it was a very, when I look back at it, I do wish to myself, like, I do think to myself, like, I wish I knew what I was doing. Like, and the stuff I'm learning now, I wish I applied it back then.
So I mean, like, if you could, from what you've done now, you know, in the time that you've been able to grow, if you could give yourself then one piece of advice, what would you say?
I think it would be research more. I'd say research more on how to like work on a record, what you need in order for a record to be successful. You know, because at the time back in 2017 when we released our first release, you know, we had the EP, we just put it on TuneCore.
Oh yeah.
We didn't do no marketing. The day we were like, yeah, guys, EP's out.
Yeah.
And the problem was that I used to look up to like the big artists when they're doing their releases, and I thought the way the big artists do their releases
is the way you have to do.
Yeah, we have to do it. But then I'm forgetting that someone like Drake, for example, has got over 80 million followers on Instagram, that he can do it because of the demand for his music. Where, you know, us, Polarface as a label, Clive at the time, we haven't got like a significant amount of followers that it wouldn't work, you know. So I'll probably definitely would say just like researching more on how to work on a record. And I'm happy to say that in the last 2 years especially, I've been able to learn a lot, and I kind of know how to work on a record, how to market it, and how to promote it, you know, and of course have a strategy behind it.
And does that come purely just from your research, or is it from your? You work in the music industry, I presume.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I'm assuming you would have gotten some tips and hints from there as well.
Yeah, okay. That's correct.
So maybe for someone who is looking at someone like you and thinking, okay, well, that's good, but you know, I'm not in the music industry. How would you approach doing your research? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would encourage there's specific music books in the music industry, which is very helpful. Like, you know, you got books coming from Don and Passman. That was one of the first books I read.
What was it?
Don and Passman, All You Need to Know About the Music Business.
Yep, okay.
You know, that one is a book from Anne Harrison as well, which is talking about the music business, especially in the UK. I think that'll be very helpful for us, considering like most of our businesses are going to be dealt in this country. So Anne Harrison's book is a very good book. And I got those books before I even made the decision of like doing Polarface, and before like I said I want to get myself in the music industry. Like, I'd go to my local library and I just happened to find these books. And, you know, I just thought, no, let me get up and just start reading about it. And that's when I kind of had my research, like being taught and like understanding how the music business works. So I would encourage that anyone who wants to get into industry, so the main thing they should do is definitely look at those books. And then as well, you've got YouTube and you've got Google, where so much history is there and so much information is there for you to know how the music business work. And, you know, I took a lot of my time watching like a lot of music documentaries found on YouTube, which would teach me about like famous record CEOs, you know, and how they built their labels. And then when you do those research and you start to understand how those labels were formed, it literally just started from an idea, and it just took from there, really, you know. So like, anyone can start anything in the music industry. I just think you just need to take the time to find the right resources and find the right research. And I would definitely encourage those books. Are definitely one, and documentaries found on YouTube. So it's a good book as well.
What was that second book you said? You said
Anne Harrison. I forgot the author's called Anne Harrison. I forgot the title of it, but if you went on Google, you can find it easy.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so you've started the label, you've landed your first client, you've put out some music. Fast forward, it's 2020, and you're looking to approach a new creative. What are some of the things that you're looking for? And I guess this would be helpful for those who are artists, but also people, you know, who are looking to do the management side of things, etc., etc. So what are you looking at?
Well, the main one's definitely talent. You know, that's definitely the main one. You know, you want to make sure that you're working with an artist who's, like, what I always say, is like a rough and a diamond. You know, like they've got a beautiful voice, but they just need that polish. You know, so that's definitely one. And then, you know, this is like, this is a very interesting topic that people talk about this, and it's got its pros and cons, you know. But we're now living in a time where data does play a huge part, and stats and numbers play a huge part. And I think it depends on you as a manager where you want to go and which approach you want to take on with. There's certain managers who want to do the idea where, like, no, they want to find an artist who's already got a good following. You know, they've got people already taking interest in that artist. A fan base is sort of there. Obviously, not a huge fan base, but a little fan base is being developed. And then that's when managers feel very confident to take on the artist, because they know that, all right, my job can be a lot more, not easier, but it's like it could be at a good start now, because the artist has got their followers, they've got their fan base. Now they just need somebody who can help them concentrate on them making the music, and that person is just doing all the admin, doing all the business side for them. And then you've got the other side where some managers would love to just find an artist who's on like literally on like 10 followers, 20 followers, but they're going to work with them because they know the voice is special. They know that the voice can take them somewhere. And, you know, I'm very, very fortunate that I've been in a position where I've dealt in two sides, where I've dealt in a side where I've found artists who've got the good followers, you know, got that fan base sort of developed there, you know, they've got a bit of a name in the industry, but all they need is just somebody behind the scenes to help them out. But then I've also been able to find artists who, you know, they've got very little followership and they're new and they're starting out, but they are so talented that they're so hard to forget that straight away you want to go work with them, you know. So I'm very happy that I've been able to work on both sides and see how it works. And I think that side, there's no right or wrong. I think it comes down to the artist and yourself, you know, like the artist has to make sure that they're working hard and they're producing the best work as they can, and they're being like a good motivation factor for the manager, because, you know, as a manager, you're going through a lot of things, and at the end of the day, you can only be successful if it comes down to your artist. So you need to make sure that the artists you're working with, like, they're hungry for it. You know, they're not wasting your time, and they're also not wasting their time too.
Yeah, no, I think that's really helpful, and you touched on a couple of good points there. Especially, I think, you know, when we're talking about it being such a relational thing, you know, I guess the artist kind of drives everything that happens for the manager, but the manager really just helps to facilitate the artist's dream. And so it's so important for the artist to know that you have to be someone that is easy to work with. You know, you have to make it easy. You have to show that you're willing. You have to show that you're ready to work. And so then, you know, you can both kind of feed into each other's energies, and you can both work together and make the vision come to life. Because at the end of the day, it is a team sport, and you don't want to, like, you know, managers shouldn't be chasing money, and artists shouldn't be thinking that, yeah, everything's about me. Let me just do things exactly the way I want to do. You know, let's make this a team effort. And so, yeah, no, I think that's so important. And so, kind of just briefly on the flip side, is there something, like one trait that you found that has put you off a talented artist?
Ego. Easy answer. Ego right there. And, you know, I do feel like ego is an interesting one, because some artists obviously love it. It's because it's part of their brand and it's what embraces them. Because I think with music, it's a very hard one. When you want to tell somebody, and that's what the one thing I do feel from musicians, is that what they tell me is that when you want to tell somebody that you want to be an artist, the one thing people will do is like, oh, you want to be an artist, you know, then sometimes you get those stares and you get those looks. That you need to have something in order to back yourself up. And, you know, sometimes ego plays a part of being that shield, you know, to protect you when anyone wants to kind of discredit what you do. But at the same time, I think, you know, having an ego, it can be beneficial, but you need to have it at a right balance. It comes to a time when the ego is affecting things and it's making things feel a bit worse and is not allowing people to have a good experience of working with you. That's when, you know, it becomes a problem. And, you know, it's been a trait when I've seen from artists who I've worked with, or I've had the desire to work with, but, you know, when I met them in person, or if I've dealt with them in short little time spaces, I've realised, you know what, maybe it's just not for me, because I just don't like to work in an environment where it's a bit toxic. I like to work in an environment where, you know, the artist is happy that I'm there to work with them. I'm happy to be working with them. And, like, you know, everybody's on the same page. And because at the end of the day, we all got the same goal, which is to be successful in what we do, you know. So for us, that reach that lane, everybody has to have the right mindset, you know. So when ego gets involved, it's just not nice to work around with. So that's been a trait which I've always made sure that I'm not being surrounded by it and I'm not working with it.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, it's from our interactions so far, I can tell, you know, that you're quite personable. You're someone that people, you know, would want to work with. So, you know, I think that's so important that you make yourself someone that doesn't have a big ego. And if you do have one, then you need to work on that. But yeah, there's so much in what you said that I would like to unpack, but unfortunately, time is running out. So I'm gonna end in just a moment.
Yeah.
But I've got one more question for you.
Okay, I hope it's not hard.
If you can choose one artist, dead or one artist dead or alive, that you would have liked to have on your label or manage, who would it be? Don't say why, just the name.
Tupac.
Tupac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
To me, he's the GOAT, man. In my family, like that was the one rapper which, you know, I heard his music from a young child, and his music's just kind of grown with our family. That, you know, I always felt like growing up, Tupac was somebody I just knew, but obviously, of course, I didn't know him. But it came to a point when the music was just so effective in our household and in my life, especially, that, you know, I felt very connected with his music. So if I had the opportunity, you know, if I was able to find the next Tupac, I'll take it in a heartbeat.
Connection, yeah, definitely. I think that's so important. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, just before we sign off, then, is there anything that we should be looking out for from Polarface Music?
Yeah, we've got some exciting releases coming up from now up until November. We've got a release coming out this Friday from our artist called Sophia. We've got a release from Ed, and November time we've got a release from Mercy's Cartel. So yeah, we've got a nice couple of releases coming up from now till November. You know, socials. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's at Polarface Music. We've got a new merch line which we just released. You know, you can find it on our website as well. It'd be amazing. You guys can support independent music.
Yep.
And yeah, and then we've got some kind of good plans coming up in 2021, but you'll find out later. We can't announce it now. You'll find out in a couple of months.
I'm looking forward to hearing it, Jason. Thank you so much for coming on, and thanks for just, you know, talking to us. It's been great. It's been great.
Part 2. Hopefully we do another part 2. It'd be great.
We have to have you back. We have to have you back.
Thank you.
Yeah, you take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.